Again, we're going to be speaking about restorative self-care and also as it connects to mental wellness, all for stress reduction practices within the community. And again, really just grateful that Merritt University that we can partner with the Promise Zone and really bring expertise, bring wisdom, but just really just bring and expand the conversation on health. So really grateful. All righty. So all of this information I'll be sharing is a part of a larger training series that I bring that's called Repair, that really helps to create restorative environments that involves, restoring personal accountability in relationships. And so just how you relate to your environment, relate to community, relate to yourself. I'll be getting into all of that. And so before we get started, let's literally just take a moment to breathe. And we just know just how important it is just to inhale and to exhale. Let's just keep doing that for a few more times. Inhale and exhale. Inhale out through the mouth. Let's actually have an audible ah next to inhale. Ah. One more time. Inhale. Ah. How important it is to just have a moment to breathe. Knowing that this year that we have gone through, the breath has held such an important role for COVID, for sure, COVID-19, for George Floyd and his remaining moments of life, and just for us to breathe our feelings, to breathe just where we are during this time. So I wanted to make sure we started there for us to breathe. And so in addition to that, just want to let you know, I feel you. We've had to be in so many different roles and so many different capacities these days, all at the same time, all in our homes, that it's so important to just recognize all that we are, the roles that we're having to serve that previously have been separated. They're all now together. And so, so I just want to recognize, please know that I feel you, because I've felt it being so many roles all in the household that we just are trying to have time to, and how important it is to have time to just care for ourselves and slow down and release all the different components that we've had to do. So know that I feel you all. So with that, this time can be a restorative time, and it's actually, I think, an invitation for us to find better ways to restore all of our relationships to ourselves, community, family. And it is different. It's been very virtual, as we're virtual right now, but it's restorative. It's restoring our relationship and a relationship to life. So whether it's taking rest, whether it's just slowing down at times, or even having family Zooms, but just all that could be restorative. So I'm going to connect on that. So I'm going to share, I've been using the term restorative restoration. So let me give some more background on what I mean. So when you think about things that are restorative, you think about things that activate again, your sense of health and strength and feeling of well-being, and also connecting to your individual and collective voice. Okay, so that's a big part of this restorative space that we're cultivating for ourselves and our communities. But also restorative practices are practices that strengthen, again, those relationships with yourself, others, surrounding community. And exactly what we're doing and gathering here today for the Promise Zone 𝙈𝙤 series is doing just that. So we are all engaging in restorative practice as we're either here live or you're watching the recording. And also cultivating restorative environments. When we think about that, we think about environments that support the renewal of our inner and outer resources that have been depleted while we've been trying to meet all of these everyday needs. Just those images that show all of our hands and doing all those things, that has depleted energy and just depleted a lot of our sense of self. So as we create more restorative environments and even restorative communities, it'll renew those inner resources and outer resources. So what I mean by inner resources, just a sense of self-esteem and self-confidence and comfortability moving through this time that we're in. So all those inner resources, confidence, those are inner resources that can be renewed and supported during expansion of restorative environments. And outer resources, pretty much all of the consortium that the Promise Zone has are your resources, your organizations, all of the programs that organizations are offering. All those help to create restorative environments and the Restorative Promise Zone. So all those are important. And so also there are restorative questions. Again, within this time that we're in, all this is going to help us to ground and to settle and to restore ourselves. So the first question, and these are internal questions that can move you through whatever experience you have. Just asking yourself, what's happening around me and within me right now? Secondly, what's the impact on me and around me right now? And then lastly, and actually most importantly, what am I doing right now to make it better? So that really brings us into even more so our topic of stress reduction and tools and again, restoration of ourselves back to our original and upright position, but our original sense of self. And so these are questions that really can serve you well to restore yourself whenever there's been anything that has taken you out of alignment. Checking in with yourself on what's really going on, seeing the impact, and exploring ways to make it better. So I'm going to be sharing with you many ways to make it better. And so it's also, again, a time for community building and community strengthening. So glad that this Mind, Body, Spirit series has been kicked off. Yes, it's virtual. It will be for the entire series, but it's building community and strengthening all of our ties. And all of that, knowing that we are stronger together is one of the largest stress reduction practices that we have. Knowing the resources that are available, knowing that we can come together, knowing all the resources that we'll be speaking through this series are building our community ties. So again, grateful to be a part of it, for us to recognize how important that is. And so this is the time to take care of ourselves and each other. And so there are ways in which we can do that. Maybe we're going to do some yoga. Maybe there are certain stress reduction techniques that you're already doing. I'm going to share some. But again, this is a time for us to care for ourselves and really look and examine how we are doing that and how maybe we aren't. No need to feel guilt about that, but just to recognize because this is a whole new way of living and operating in this world, in this time, that we have to reevaluate, reassess, and redo how we care for ourselves and each other. And so, what is restorative care? It's important that we recognize how we incorporate compassion for ourselves. No one can say that, oh, I've gone through a pandemic like this before. I know how to take care of myself through a pandemic. So it's important to hold compassion. You may have arrived at that place now as we're a year plus in, but in the beginning, there's compassion, and there's a whole journey of compassion for ourselves and each other, because we all are engaging within this time differently. To hold us even in community within compassion is huge. But also this is bringing a time for us to explore how to advocate differently. Different needs come about during different times. It's important to recognize that. And also newer responsibilities have come about that particularly, whether professionally or within our households and in our communities, there are new responsibilities. And so as we embrace that can move us more into a restorative space. And ultimately, we can come to a place of personal, professional, community empowerment. We always want that. Yes, this pandemic has brought us to a place where we have to reevaluate how we do that, but still the same principles apply. We can continue to pull our compassion, find deeper spaces of advocacy for ourselves and community, perhaps having new roles and new responsibilities to take on, but ultimately bringing us to a place of greater empowerment. Okay. And so I want to share a little bit of research on how some stress reduction tools have and can really, really help us to move into a more restorative space. So there's a term through an article I read through Psychology Today, a term some of you may or may not have heard, that there is actually healthy stress out there. You may not think so going through this pandemic, the multiple pandemics that are out there, but there is something called eustress, which is a healthy stress. And it actually is more of a stress where you actually feel a little more in control, and it motivates you. There's a sense of motivation. And the ultimate outcome is euphoria. And so the U of eustress connects to euphoria, probably a Latin connection, the Latin language. And so just some examples, getting a new job, or you're studying for a test, or after taking a test, or just marriage. Actually, I'm a newlywed. So I can definitely say, yeah, I'm in the space of eustress. Moving, I actually moved this year as well. So, and I'm so feeling the wonderfulness of that. Giving a speech, kind of in that space now. I didn't realize they're all things of experience. Exercising, taking walks around the neighborhood. Laughter, those of you that have seen the promo videos, that all of the physiological benefits that come from laughter, increasing those endorphins, those are actually healthy stress experiences. Also having a new child, and hugs, again, the power of hugs, again, sharing all of that, the oxytocin that comes about with hugs. All those, even though they're activating the body, that could be the stress that is activating the body, but it's good stress. So we can have those, and perhaps during this time that we're in, this very special period, we've had this eustress as well, okay? And so we want to we recognize that is ideally what we want to move more towards, or to recognize that you are cultivating within yourself, this side of stress. But also we know that there are unhealthy stress, there is unhealthy stress out there as well. And that usually comes in when you're not feeling so in control, or when things are just happening and you're not so much in control of them. Also, it has the feeling of where it's depleting your energy, or just you're feeling a sense of just depletion. And usually the outcome is that you're disturbed. So distress, disturbed. So something is disturbed. Maybe certain physiological things are happening that are disturbed. Just you feeling, the feeling tone is that you're just disturbed by the stress that's happening. Again, just some examples of, again, job insecurity, just being in traffic, can't always control traffic. Divorce sometimes definitely can bring a stress. Just worrying, being in a space of worry. Death of a loved one, very much can do that. Any abuse, and also just fear of one's own safety. All of these are very much stresses to the body, to the mind, to the spirit, and cause distress. And so it's important for us to recognize that we do our best to have a balance of eustress, recognize what is eustress, but also to recognize what is distressing us as well. So we can find a balance. Okay. And so also talked about research of how important it is just to be in nature, and how much that enhances just your own sense of health and well-being, but even internally. There's research that truly shows that just being and breathing in nature, being in green spaces, can definitely elevate your mood, can lower your stress, and even lessen your sensation of pain. So if you've had to take certain Advils or Tylenols, perhaps just taking a trip out in a forest or a walk in a park could actually do perhaps some of the work that some of those over-the-counter medications may do. So just a reminder, and I'm not sure that's on the community, but I know that my family and I have taken a lot more walks during this COVID time. I think even before the official, even currently, I think now, knowing that those of you that are vaccinated out there, you don't have to wear masks, that's what the CDC has said, probably still have caution even with those guidelines. But recognizing that even in the early days of COVID, that I felt safer just being outside. And even if I didn't have a mask on outside, I just felt safer. And so knowing that doing that actually is restorative and has helped physiologically. I definitely felt it. I think my family has felt it as well. just know that there's research to support you taking walks in nature and in parks and just being out in fresh air. And so other research has shown as we have our stress responses, there can be yoga-inspired tools and practices that actually can modulate, can shift and change that stress response, also reducing anxiety. And so we know that there is our fight, flight, but some of you may not think about freeze. Freeze is also part of that stress space. So sometimes just if you're in a stress space, you're just kind of frozen, don't know what to do, maybe not doing anything. That freeze is an aspect. But doing certain movement practices, and we are going to be doing some today in this time we're sharing here, but knowing that doing some of these practices can decrease that physiological fight, flight, freeze response. And so we know that there's a stress response, but did you know that there also is something that is called a relaxation response? So it lowers the heart rate, lowers blood pressure, and lowers our breathing out of respiration. So research that has been done over at Harvard and through their Mind Body Medical Institute, again, Dr. Herbert Benson has coined the phrase of the relaxation response. And there's been research to show that, again, doing particular stress-reducing movement and stress-reducing just exercises and practices can give that complete opposite effect of the stress, the fight, flight, or freeze. So we are very much in power and empowered to do these practices. Again, we are going to have that. And so even those in the military, yoga-inspired deep relaxation for veterans has proven beneficial through Walter Reed as a method that may be more palatable, that can be received a little better and less stigmatizing than psychotherapy. Nothing is wrong for psychotherapy, but again, perhaps within the military that it may be more stigmatized. So through this research, through Walter Reed, just doing breathing exercises, movement exercises that are all bringing one to deep relaxation can be very beneficial as well. So there is a whole lot of mindfulness-based stress reduction research out there that just really shows these proven practices have physiological and psychological benefit to your wellness. And so it's examples of speaking about yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, other practices. But really the focus is that all of these practices, and even ones that are not on this list here, just bring you to the present moment, bring you back to your body. Whenever you bring your attention back to your body, you're more in the moment. When you're more in the moment, that gives you more the opportunity to reduce your stress. More times than not, stress that we feel is stress from the past, stress from potential future, stress of things that we may think happen. Somehow there's some music on my side. 1 second. I think somehow that started back, and you may not have heard me. We're not getting that what I was, so I just have to change that. Well, that apparently was a wonderful inadvertent mindfulness-based moment. So I hope you got that. All right, back to the presentation. Sorry. All right. So again, knowing that there's been so much research that supports really just bringing yourself back to your body. And so that's why it is time for us to experience it first on. But again, the outcomes for these restorative tools are you're more informed in your body. Just having an informed body, meaning you're much more aware of what's going on in your body, but also having an empowered mind, connecting to more practices that support you. So just that your thinking and behaviors have you feel more empowered. So again, that empowered mind is a big part. And lastly, a healed spirit. All this just connects with how we show up. I have to consider that just our spirit, how we bring ourselves into whatever scenarios or situations that we go to. Informed body, empowered mind, healed spirit, all that is supported by the positive self-image for sure. And so how we talk to ourselves is very important too. And so the invitation here is to be much more curious than critical. Again, this is within our mind space, but also being more caring than question, caring for ourselves, caring in the thoughts that we have, and sometimes even the thoughts that just really happen spontaneously, just to be in care and compassion within that. But also being more asking than assuming. This is more of an interpersonal and interrelational aspect for us to just be curious and ask what can be done to make a situation better, to make our health and our wholeness better, but asking versus assuming what that may be. And very much so, lastly, just more connecting than correcting. So it's not so much about correcting behavior, it's just connecting more to what is going to provide that restorative space for us, restorative health and wellness for us, but connecting to that. So these are just aspects of restorative self-talk. Okay, and then just I had found this wonderful image that empowerment is recognizing and being able to distinguish what you are in control of versus what you are not in control of. And so can't control how long this COVID is going to last, can't control reactions to others, other people's theories or opinions. So again, things like that are things that we cannot control, but things you can control are just how your outlook on events, even your outlook on this COVID-19 experience, outlook on the whole journey of social justice as very much eyes and minds of individuals. Just having the positive outlook there, maintaining good health habits, these things, all the things that we've gone through the presentation, those are much more in control of. Even limiting how much news or social media you bring into your space is very important and very much what you can be in empowerment of. Okay, so now we're in the aspects of certain restorative tools. So one of the things that I really like to share with folks are what I like to call self-care prescriptions. Again, we have our healthcare providers and healthcare provider, but the aspect of receiving a prescription from the outside, it is a part of Western practice, but you want to be able to give yourself certain wellness prescriptions, self-care prescriptions. So mindfulness practice is definitely one example, and mindfulness practice is definitely entering a space of non-judgment, a space of acceptance, and a space of just witnessing whatever is going on. And so those of you that may pray silently, that may do meditation, that may just simply just sit quietly, those are mindful practices. Again, you're in a place of non-judgment, this place of just accepting what is going on and witnessing what is going on. So that is one example of a self-care prescription. And then another tool, we're going to do some breathing exercises. You know, we're at towards the tail end, so this is making it very real, very tangible. So we're going to use some yoga-inspired breathing techniques and a little bit of movement as well. And so I just want to share whether or not you have experienced yoga, or not even that it has to be yoga, any movement practice that has you embrace conscious breath with movement is restorative and is a place that can bring you to stress reduction. And so what we're going to do is what I call a grounding breath and intentional breath, and then a little bit of movement, what I call simply a shoulder checking. Okay, so this is the practical portion of the experience this morning. So inviting you in whatever seat that you're in to have your feet planted on the ground. I invite you to have your hands flat on your thighs, palms down. So we're going to start off with some intentional grounding breath. All right. And so if you feel comfortable, you can have your eyes closed, or you can just allow your gaze. You don't necessarily have to read what's on the screen. I'll be guiding you, but again, this is going to be recorded, so you have access to it later. So just simply feeling yourself within the seat you are in. And just taking this time to feel your connection to the earth through your feet. And you want to feel your spine elevating up towards the sky, just like the trunk of a tree. And you want to relax your shoulders down as if they're like branches on a tree. And then you want to balance your head and neck in between your two shoulders, just like the top and tip of the tree. And you just want to feel yourself supported within your chair, rooting down, truly giving all of your weight into the chair to feel fully supported. As we continue to ground, we also want to invite in that grounding earth energy, that earth vibration, up through the soles of our feet, through our toes, inviting it up through our shins, our calf muscles, and up to and through our knees. And feeling it move from our knees back through our thighs, and arriving at our tailbone and our foot. As we continue to ground with that earth energy, we invite it up further, up through each of our vertebrae, spine, and also feel that energy wrapping around our ribcage, enveloping all of our internal organs, grounding every one of them. Feeling that energy and grounding energy come up now towards the base of the neck, arriving at your shoulders. Now feeling that earth energy now cascade down your shoulders, down your arms, through your biceps, triceps, through your elbows, forearms, your wrists, palms, and your fingertips. And continue to invite the energy up through your head and your neck, moving through your eyes and your ears, and your nose, throat, face muscles, eyebrows, your forehead, and all the way up and out through the crown of your head, creating a clear channel for that earth energy to move through your body. And inviting us now to shift our attention now to our exhale, our out breath, just your mind's attention. Maybe you've been allowing your exhale to be a little bit longer, extending your exhale just a tad bit longer. And in that extension of your exhale, you have the opportunity to breathe out, to release out any negativity, worry that is mental, physical, or emotional. Release it and breathe it. Note the sensation to feel with that release. This is that intentional breath, intentional release of anything that could in and just and gently inviting your mind's attention to shift a little more towards your inhale, your in-breath. And even extending that inhale, taking slightly deeper in. And now the opportunity you have is to breathe in, to bring in all that is possible, all that is of your wellness and your wholeness. So breathing in wholeness in your mental, physical, and emotional space. Connecting to the sensation of expansion, literally creating more space as you inhale in all those areas of the mind. Connect with all the good sensations that are coming. It's intentional breath. Staying with the breath here, inviting us to bring our attention to our shoulders. And so inviting with our next inhale, inviting those shoulders to rise up. And on the exhale, rolling your shoulders back and down. Feel your heart stretch as you bring your shoulders back and down. Keep making those circles with the shoulders. Inhale, the shoulders rise. Exhale, rolling those shoulders back and down. And keeping it going. Inhale, shoulders rise. Exhale, the shoulders back and down. Keep it going here. Inhale, shoulders rise. Exhale, back and down. Let's get two more of those in. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, roll them back and down. Last one here. And inhale, shoulders rise. Exhale, inhale, shoulders back and down. And return to your normal breathing. And if your eyes are closed, inviting you to slowly and gently begin to keep your eyes back open. Turn back into this moment. So, connecting with some of the themes that can come from just the simple practices that we've just done. They invite positive steps to prevent isolation. We are in community right now. So, any isolation. You just promoted your well-being, just doing what you just breathing, just breathing. You've used and expanded and enhanced your mind-body awareness. And you just embraced acceptance of the moment. Whatever was going on, knowing we all have full lives, probably responsibilities that are needing your attention. But for these moments, space of acceptance, all these are restorative things, stress-reducing things that help you get to a better place of health. And ultimately, feeling empowered. That is if there's one thing that it's my goal for everyone for this presentation, is that you can feel empowered in the areas of wellness that you need in that time. So ultimately, balancing your mind, body, and spirit, and engaging them in the healthiest way possible as you get into that healthy space, and ultimately brings you to your resilience. I know that there was a previous speaker spoke about your resilience score. So all of these help to elevate your resilience. Again, if we are alive now and have gone through the multiple pandemics of 2020 and 2021, we are resilient. So we are already there. And with that, I just want to say thank you, and know that you are empowered to make these changes. The Promise Zone, again, you can be the promise you want to see in the world, and you can be in that healthy space that is that promise. So thank you for this opportunity, and I will pass it back to Julius. And again, if there are any questions, we know at the tail end, I will take off the screen and give them.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Penn, for such a wonderful presentation. I, for one, feel very relaxed and more in tune with myself and my breathing, thanks to you. And I hope others feel the same way after being a part of this presentation or viewing this presentation recording. I want to just check in to see if anyone has any thoughts or questions they'd like to present to Dr. Penn. So please, in the chat box, please relay any questions that you may have, and we'll relay those questions or thoughts to Dr. Penn so that he can answer them. You see a thank you from Dr. Michael Huff, our wonderful federal liaison with the Promise Zone. thank you. He said, thank you. This is a helpful way and a perfect start to the weekend. So we're glad to hear that. Melanie Olson states that I find that advocating for myself is much more difficult than advocating for others. How do you recommend focusing on the A of your acronym CARE?
Let's see. Definitely, uh, I agree. It definitely easier to give it out than to have it come in. And this is a invitation again for those self-care prescriptions. I didn't break down a little more on how we can use those again for the sense of self-advocacy and even enhancing personal self practices. When you break down a prescription, it's something that is measurable, something that's accountable, and something that can be repeated and is repeatable. So when you literally write something down, for example, you just need to take your own walks and needing to advocate for that for yourself. So writing that down, just like a prescription, taking 2 walks per day for 5 days out of the week and doing that for 4 weeks. And so again, so breaking it down, taking 2 walks per day, morning and the evening, uh, 5 days out of the week for 4 weeks. And then after those 4 weeks, literally writing that down, you could put a refill. And then for that next month, like, okay, I'm going to do the same thing again. And so for the process of not only can make it measurable, accountable, and repeatable, you get to hold yourself accountable. And having, you can use that on a post-it note. You can put it on your mirrors in the bathroom. You can put it, in the car. You can put it in wherever your eyes are going to see by the front door. We have to turn the knob or you can lock the latch. Those can definitely help and support that place of advocating for yourself to yourself. And again, it is a process. And creating a habit, it's been said, takes either 21 days or 33 days. There's research that shows it's a process to start a new habit. But when you have it consistently, have it in front of you, have it reinforced repeatedly, that can help you continue to
advocate. Thank you so much for that wonderful question, Melanie, and thank you for that amazing answer, Dr. Penn. I hope that folks will now be writing all kinds of prescriptions for themselves. I know that I'm going to find some way to get a prescription pad and just give myself all kinds of prescriptions. Any other questions or comments? All right, Carolyn Evans, she wanted to say thank you. And so I want to make sure I relay that. And I want to be respectful of everyone's time. And so I want to bring this thing to a close by once again thanking Dr. Alice Vestergaard at Samuel Merritt for being such a wonderful partner in helping to create and to continue the Sacramento Promise Zone Mind, Body, and Spirit Health Series. I want to thank all of the participants who joined us live, and I want to thank everyone who will be watching the recording. We know that will help create great impact and exponential impact if you all share it with your friends and share it with your family, share it with your colleagues, your coworkers, your networks, share it with everybody, right? So that everybody can be a little more mindful. Everyone can learn some practices to reduce their stress because I know that we all need it. We cannot serve others, help others, or make the difference that we ultimately could make in this world unless we take care of ourselves.